Greg Webster here. We're down here at the Santa Monica Airport, hanging out with a few legends. We got Global Media, Sespe Moon Productions, shout out to gregrents, shout out to RP4, shout out to Sonny Nutter. I've raced with Robbie. We are at the airport right now. There are airplanes taking off. This is a legendary Triumph shop. I was invited here by my buddy Zach, and Zach's known Sonny's for years, for one way or another, and Sonny will tell you why. But we're out here having a good time, and we had the opportunity. We're dropping a couple bikes off to get a little R&R. We got a 66 Triumph, and we're just here having a good time, telling stories, shop talking. Robbie, what do you know, man? How'd you get here? Tell me how you got here.
Yeah, I was just told to be at the airport at 10. And it's 2:30 now, so yeah, it's everything.
He's ready for a nap.
Yeah, everything's on schedule, and we've been telling some great stories so far. So hopefully we can save a little bit for everybody.
There's a lot of bike covers if you need a night, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I've spent a little time in here myself. I got a little overloaded at Gilbert's, you know.
Yeah.
Too many Margies. Yeah. And let me tell you, this floor is not soft.
Yeah. I brought a few extra bike covers and some microfibers if you need.
Oh, I got all the stuff. I know what to do.
Yeah, we got Carter James here. He's riding a 50. He's known Sonny. He's 6 years old now, and he's known Sonny for a few years. Took us probably, 5 years? I built a bike. Zach and I built a bike with you, a couple bikes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Carter's getting bigger and better looking. If I was a girl, I'd probably be chasing after him right now.
Oh,
look at him go.
Yeah. So Sonny.
But I suggest stay away from the women. They'll mess you up.
Yeah, but it never gets old, bro. Come on.
No, the racing part. You know, you can't have distractions if you're going to be a champion. And for me, I didn't know it, but I had Vietnam after me.
Yeah.
They wanted me real bad, and so I fell in love at a young age. Like 20, I got married. And I thought I'd stay out of Vietnam with that, and that wasn't good enough, so I had to have a kid, so I had that. And then the war was over, and I got to do my lifetime dream of being a motorcycle racer.
Yeah. How'd you get into that? I mean, you wrote a whole book. Carter and I have read your whole book, front to cover, front back. And by the way, Robbie, if you don't have one,
yeah,
we'll buy a book, bro.
It's good. I don't have any more books.
You don't have any more?
I sold them all, man.
Well, good. Let's get a second edition going with a few more chapters.
It'll be the third edition, but I could add chapters because I only remember so much at the time.
If we went to another, when's the next race, Robbie?
Hillclimb?
Yeah.
Washington.
Washington? You want to go to Washington?
Not necessarily.
Jump on the bird?
I don't go anywhere no more. And it's not because of me so much as it is my wife don't care for it that much. Yeah. And then you might ask, what am I doing with her? Well, I love her dearly, and she has over 175 miles on her own motorcycle, a Harley. Yeah, I know.
Hey, maybe she can make some sales up there. You never know. We can turn this into a business trip.
Yeah, I'm done. I only do monkey. I'm only monkey business nowadays.
Yeah. So what races do you like to go to?
Well, there's a big national championship race tomorrow night at Ventura. I'd be going to, but I'm kind of coming off of being sick for 2 or 3 months, and this is a national championship race. And I'm sure the place will be packed, and it'll be the good guys.
What if Greg Rents sponsored you you and Diana a room at the Crown Plaza? You coming up? We'll do round 2.
Oh, boy.
Round 3.
You know what? I got to tell you, you're making it so tempting, but here's the deal.
Come on, I'll call Diana.
She's fell out of the saddle big time. I could probably make it because I'm a guy, and we go no matter what.
Yeah.
But... you know what? Here's the deal. I'm no good without her, and she's no good without me.
Amen,
we both need each other to get here and there. So, yeah.
You've done a lot of racing in your years, Sonny. One thing that stands out to me is you used to race as a teenager with Malcolm Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that a little bit. How'd you get to riding or racing against Malcolm Smith?
Well, it was scrambles. It was scrambles events on Sunday.
Where?
And my first place I raced at was Spencer Park, which was an oil dirt, long, fast, up and down hill, off camber, a big off camber downhill sweeper. It was hairy, and a couple of guys got hurt real bad there. But anyway, Malcolm was riding. You know, I think he was riding a matchless single. And I was riding the 200cc class because I was a 200cc guy for 2 seasons. I was 16 or something. Before I moved to the 250s. I was kind of a gradual mover. I went from the 200 to the 250.
How old were you?
16.
Yeah.
I was going to Mexico to ride the Rosarita Grand Prix when I was 16.
And you just turned 80 February 2nd.
Yeah.
And here we are. We just left Gilbert Indio's Cafe. They call Sonny the mayor. We roll up, he's like, give me the mayor pour. And they know exactly what he's talking about. And Sonny's like, I like you, you, goodbye, you, and you're good.
No, when you get to be 80, you can do that. You can pick and choose. But
I can't wait.
Like I've told you guys, well, today's been real cool meeting Robbie and all you new guys. I got some new friends, which is always good. Just keep adding them on.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of respect for this guy because this guy does stuff that I would never do.
Yeah, Robbie's a few
years. And not that I've been up and down some hills, but not like the hills he's going up and down. No thanks.
Give me a picture of that. Like he made the.
It's up there.
The centerfold of Dirt Rider magazine in 2002, or.
Yeah, it's over a 20-year-old photo.
Did you have your clothes
20
on?
years ago. 20 years ago.
It was optional.
I did Playgirl.
Yeah. Carl Kramer said it was optional.
Robbie, you've traveled the world. Tell me some of your accomplishments, because like I hear of I remember, Ken Santoni growing up, watching him announce for us. And he had that raspy voice. Now Two Beer Willie's in it. Two Beer, what up? Shout out. And he's got that gravel going on in his voice, and he'll name off all your accolades, but we haven't seen you race in some years, man. I know you got hurt in 2010, but that was like kind of the peak of your career. Tell me, just what are some of your accomplishments that stand out?
When I got hurt, it was the peak of my career, and I was defending Verticross champion, which was the first year that they did the side-by-side Verticross. Right. So I was the first champion of that class, and now it's turned into X-Climb, and it's a huge deal. And then
side-by-side Hillclimb racing, bracket racing.
Yeah,
you beat a guy, you move to the next guy until you're the fastest
that's cool.
guy on the
I
hill.
like that.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. So I won that. That was the last championship I won, and then in 2007 I won the 700 national championship, and then the world championship over in France, and then in 2002 I won the 600 championship, which is that bike that I restored now.
Yeah.
And
it's a McGrath bike.
That was the last year they ran that class too.
Wow.
So they eliminated that class, and so those things, I didn't win as many championships as everybody else, but in my time, it was a transition of the sport with the bikes. The bikes have progressed so much that you weren't into these Widowmaker, long, big motor things. The bikes were
if you could make it, how fast you could make it.
Well, the bikes had suspension, and they were motocross style, and I was jumping up these cliffs out in the hills, and I'm like, I can do this with a motorcycle bike or with a Hillclimb bike. Yeah. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we can do it. So then you get photos like that. Yeah.
Sonny.
No way, Jose.
I'm trying to patch Sonny in I'm sponsored him. I've sent letters to the AMA twice, to get you into the Hall of Fame. You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. This guy's got a pro license from 1966. I've seen it. I have a picture of it. You sent me a picture of it. It's got a social security number on it. And it's like, he sends me a picture of it. I'm like, why isn't he in the AMA Hall of Fame? And I'm going to make a phone call again to them on the way home, but they're in Ohio, so that probably won't work. But They're gonna have to consider you, Sonny. How many championships on two wheels have you acquired?
Well, there's different types of championships, of course. It's like points, summer points. I was points champion a couple of times over for the season, high point champion for the national qualifiers. I never won a national. Oh, I did win a national. Let me back that up, but I got ripped off. In 1968, Speedway was just getting going. It was just getting popular, and I won a 3-day event. In the last race, I made it happen and won the thing by a point and won High Point Rider of the Year also at Southgate, Trojan Speedway. So I won the national, the first, and it's in Cycle News. That's the beauty of it. I have proof because on the list, when you see a list now of Speedway national champions, they don't start with me.
Whoa.
They just blew me off. And what they did is they made me state champion because here's what happened. After we had that national at Trojan, the next weekend, Dude Criswell at Whiteman ran a national. So, wow, 2 nationals in a row, just out of the blue.
Yeah.
So we did that national. I got second to Rick Woods in that one. And Rick Woods became the national champion. And to this day, he's the first national champion, but not really.
Yeah.
If you read Cycle News, 68, Sonny Nutter wins first Speedway U.S. championship.
Right.
So thank God for that.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't really care. I didn't know if Speedway was going to do anything. I didn't know if it was going to last or what was going to happen with Speedway.
Wow.
And as I got older and it got deeper into this thing and made a living at it, I kind of wish I would have been more fought for it, and said, hey, wait a minute.
Whoa.
This is mine, not his. But so, shit happens, and
So you
that's
worked
okay.
your way. You worked your way all the way through.
I won 3 long track championships, which I'm very proud of because that's the half mile at Ascot. And if you win at Ascot, you're pretty good. And I won 3 of them babies, and some of them, the world champion guys were there and all that. And I was team captain in Australia and New Zealand and Australia. No, Israel. I was in and out of England. Didn't stay.
How is it not? You're in the Skid Shoe Hall of Fame. You're in the Skid Shoe Hall of Fame. You just took a picture on the Vegas Strip with the McGrath bike, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, my bike.
Rob.
McGrath's similar. McGrath, I made McGrath a replica bike of mine.
Right, but that was the one he rode.
No, it's my bike.
Oh,
That's mine.
Okay, that wasn't the one he rode.
I found his bike, and the guy won't sell it back to me. He's all, I know what it is. I'm like,
whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
You're talking about McGrath, the motocross guy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Okay. Which one's the one that drove at Indy?
Jeff Ward.
Okay, well, I just saw him.
Yeah, where'd you see him at?
Well, I was at the races. Maybe it was a Long Beach Grand Prix, I think.
Yeah.
And I saw him, and I hadn't seen him since he was just a little shit riding Speedway at Orange County. And I knew he got to be a big motocross guy, and I knew all that, kind of followed through his career. But I hadn't seen him. And, of course, when he was a kid riding Speedway and learning how to ride, I was a big deal then.
Jeff Ward.
So he knew who I was.
Right.
But I never met him, really. So I went over and I says, hey, never mind this stuff, man. You got second at Indy. I always writing about you on motorcycles. But to get second at Indy, wow, that's huge in front of 500,000 people.
Yeah.
Right. You ever know Bob Hanna, Hurricane Hanna?
I didn't know him, but I'd like to. He sounds like my kind of guy.
He rode a lot at Bean Canyon. We got some property out in Bean.
I love riding out in that area.
You ridden Bean?
What do they call? Not California City.
Mojave.
There's a word. There's another.
Bean.
No, there was another. We called it another name. And it was one of my favorite places to ride because it had all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Lots of Joshua trees, lots of hill climb, single track,
Razorbacks,
bike hiking,
hills and sand and the whole
It'll give
works.
you everything you want, whatever you want.
That was Caselli's place.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What
Holiday.
I've never heard of Holiday.
Yeah, off of 138.
Yeah? Huh. Yeah. Okay.
Really good. We all went there. That's where we rode a lot. And that's, if you look at that picture there, did you notice that skid shoe thing?
Right here?
Yeah.
I'm sure that this was done before you got it. When did you get in?
Just this year.
Okay, yeah, this is a previous
Hot
thing.
Shoe Hall of
But it's
Fame.
funny, in the picture on the bottom row is Rod Lake about in the middle, the guy in the garage, and my skid shoe's just to the left of him. They're almost side by side. Back it up a little bit and go up. Back it up. Bring it back. No, the other way. Right in there.
Yeah, Sonny Nutter.
And look down. Go down one and back towards you.
Rob Lake.
Yeah.
Do they actually still have your skid shoe? Did you have to give
Oh,
it up
yeah.
to them?
Yeah.
Wow. So a
My
skid-
wife pulled my license anyway. She says, "You're done." I low-sided out at Paris. I hadn't ridden in a million years. And I rode this 350 BSA that I put together and was out there slobbering around like an idiot. And I low-sided, lost the front end, low-sided, going no miles an hour, and hoping as on the way down, I'm thinking, I hope nobody's watching this.
Yeah, they
And
are.
it was a low side, and I had my leathers and skid shoe and helmet and all that. My arm went down into the dirt, and I guess the leathers just grabbed the skin off the top of my arm and just pulled it off. Pulled all the skin off so I realized then that I don't know if I can ride motorcycles if my skin's going to tear off,
Yeah.
because it's like paper when you get old.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
you're
getting
getting
there.
you're getting
I'm
on the
there.
edge of
It's
where
happening.
they're-
Yeah.
I call them flaps. You just bump something and it tears it. It's a flap. You got to
gotta-
You got to learn how to put it down and wrap it up.
A gill going.
I'm running this. I'm running this rental yard, in Oakview, and thinking I'm hot stuff. And I'm going to Carnegie, and I finally start winning, and I get on the podium. I raced you. I think I bumped you off one time. You're like, we got in a hot one.
Oh
and-
no! Let me tell the story.
Oh god.
Okay, so this guy lines up against me in that verticross, the side by side. But
And did you know who he was?
no, I knew who he was. But
We're
the race
bros.
before, they had this motocross guy line up, and I'm like, and I knew he's gonna outgate me. I'm all, dude, this guy's gonna outgate me, but I'll get him on the hill.
Well, how is the gate?
It's the motocross starting gate.
Does that mean your wheels are in something or
No,
a
it's just
thing?
it's just a backwards falling gate. Just
Oh,
like the
okay.
moto guys
I got
have. Yeah. Or they have an old school rubber band if they don't have the money for the gate. But so I go up against this moto guy, and I'm in the right lane, and the hill had a left-hand turn, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna tuck under the guy and then pass him on the inside and beat him. So that's what I did. So he lines up against me in the same thing, and he knew what I was going to do. And then we take off, and as soon as I start to go behind him, he puts the brakes on in the middle of the hill. And I ran into the back of him.
Oh.
And I fall over, and he just like, and like scratches his way over the top. And he's like, dude, all I know is I finally beat you.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it to the grave, bro.
Yeah, it is. And I'm like,
Oh,
I got to
so
give it
good.
to you.
Love you,
Yeah.
bro.
No,
Love
it was
you.
great.
Every dog has his day.
That's good.
It's-
Yeah. No,
I beat a world champion that day.
It was,
Yeah, no
it was
shit.
all about the
Love you,
technique,
bro.
dude.
You were like, you son of a bum.
Yeah, I was a little irritated because I was stoked I beat that other guy because
Right.
he was the guy to beat. I'm
You're
like,
all-
this is
you-
gonna be the fastest guy. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, Webster. I'm like,
Easy money.
Whatever. No,
Webster
Well, I
brake-
know-
brake
I know how-
checked
the
him.
guy aced me, dude.
You know, in Speedway, there was rules that we started with tapes going across, and they pop a button and it goes up. Boom, we go. If you touch the tapes, you're disqualified. It got down to that crucial.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I was at the head. It was a 3-day race at the LA Convention Center, indoors.
yeah.
They put dirt on the pavement.
Yeah.
It was just a rough, man, it was rough and ruddy and crappy. It was just a terrible racetrack. But for some reason, I was leaping off the holes and passing people and doing pretty good. And I was going to win this thing. And my last race of the night, I'm in the front by a point or something. All I got to do is win this one, and nobody's in it. I'm in an empty race, really, compared to what I was in.
Podium.
I touched the tapes,
Oh.
and I got disqualified. And I'll never forget the crowd. The crowd went nuts because along the way in this 3-day event, I had a couple of big unloads and shit where I was in the front and I crashed it.
Ooh.
And I was kind of the crowd favorite, and then they
Right.
disqualified me. And that's why I didn't win any nationals. Something always stupid happened to me. But I won the state championship and Ernie Rocha Memorial and several track championships and stuff. And I did as good as I could.
Yeah. I started getting podium finishes, and I'm like, I didn't have any big backing. You know, I'm at the rental yard. Just took over the rental yard from my pops, and I get on the podium, and I'm open up the envelope. I'm like, $450. You know, it cost me $3,500 to be here right now. The hotel, fuel, entries,
and the work.
And
Don't forget the work.
The light came on in my head. Nothing against racing. I love racing. I just never really had. I was always out of the bed in my truck, and like you said at lunch earlier, you know, a lot of guys wasted talent. I think a lot of mine was wasted talent.
Yeah, you're a perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, you needed guidance, and you have a choice of what you want to do. For me, there was no other choice, and I think the same for you.
Well, I mean,
with racing and
for me, I was brought up in it and that, but I could have gone another way. But it was like, if I wanted to race motorcycles, I'm working construction, working for my family. That's the only way I could get off. If I worked any other job, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do nothing. But I said, hey, I got to leave for 2 weeks. I'm going to Europe. And they're like, okay, cool.
Make it happen for us. Yeah.
Well, so that was the benefit of doing that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I'm very blessed to be able to work for my family and have that happen. You know, but at the same time, working for family's hard.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was always in the motorcycle business or a motorcycle mechanic throughout my whole racing career until about 1979. I switched over to midgets. And then I wasn't racing for a living no more like I was on speedway bikes. And I had to get a job. So I ended up working for a friend of mine that had a construction company, and it wasn't. After a few years, I became the manager of the projects and all the stuff, and knew how to be a finished carpenter and do all the make chicken shit out of chicken salad. No, chicken salad out of chicken shit.
I don't know how the heck you and I started knowing each other, Sonny. Zach is a good friend of mine, and he called me one day, and you know, he goes, I bought a Triumph from the auction house, California Auctioneers. Shout out California Auctioneers at Casita Springs, where Johnny Cash used to have his house. And Zach goes, come on, bro, we got to take these things to Sonny Nutter and get them nutterized. And I'm like, who the hell's Sonny Nutter? And next thing you know, here we are at the airport breaking down a 66 Triumph, having margaritas and tacos.
That's right.
And that was, 6 years ago? Now we got two beautiful bikes built.
Boy, I don't know.
Sonny, you're one of the best bike builders I've ever known. I mean, your dad builds a hell of a bike. You build a hell of a bike. There's a lot of other guys out there, but Sonny...
Those are Hillclimb bikes.
I know.
Yeah,
this
stuff...
This is artistry.
You don't know mine, and I don't know yours.
Yeah.
But this is there's two worlds combined.
Well, people
here.
call it art. They really do.
is.
You're an artist.
Well,
and I don't consider myself an artist by any means. I just have to make things like I like them to look, or I don't want to do it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's got to look a certain way. And like when I took my bike to the hot shoe thing, and they had Joe Kopp's bike up there, and I wheeled my bike in, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah. I mean, that thing you can like eat off the fenders, you know, it's so clean. And then my bike was up there, and I looked, and I'm like, actually looks pretty good. So yeah, I mean, it's come a long way with things like that.
When I first brought him home, I was like scared to even have him at my house. They're so nice. I mean, you can eat off the Sonny when he finishes the bike. Every nut and bolt, every single thing is just so you can. And nobody even knows I have them there, Sonny, because they're so covered. I got multiple covers over them.
Well, get them out. I want people to see them.
I know, but
you know what?
Well,
I'm really jazzed to have you two bikes, yours and Zach's, plus the one I'm building for Chris Cord.
Yeah.
Zach was Chris Cord's, hung out with the sons. Mm-hmm. And Chris Cord,
cousins.
I'm building a Chris Cord tribute bike right now.
Where's it at?
It's that number 19 bike out there.
Oh, no kidding. That's Chris Cord?
That's for Michael Cord.
Okay. Cool.
And he's got 3 boys. One of them just died, Steven.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a hell of a car racer and hell of a guy, and he put me in business and did a lot for me.
Yeah.
And but Zach was going to the races, the speedway races. Chris was taking him with his sons. And matter of fact, Zach brought a T-shirt, a Sonny Nutter T-shirt that was for kids.
Yeah.
That was probably, I don't know, 30, 40 years old or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he had that since he was a little boy, and he still had it. That was cool.
Wow. That's really cool. Really cool. Well, the sport's definitely come a long way. We're trying to get you into the AMA Hall of Fame.
Oh, I might add that another Hall of Fame that he should be in, too. There's not much mention at the Trailblazers of Hillclimb and stuff, but it is. They just celebrated their 80th year, and it was funny. That was my birthday.
Is that an AMA?
We both celebrated 80.
Wow, what district? Trailblazers?
Trailblazers,
What
and everybody that's anybody goes there is in that. Bud Eakins said, no, it was Joe Leonard. Joe Leonard
McConnell's involved with it.
Yeah, and Joe Leonard says, oh, yeah, I've been in the AMA deal. He says, but this is the real deal, the Trailblazers, because it's us. Just us guys, us regular guys.
How do we get involved with that?
Don MD. I got all the things you need to know about getting a hold of them.
I'll talk with you because I'll become a member. I think
Don
that's
MD is the president, and Don MD and his dad both won Daytona. That's pretty unreal.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I have a picture in my room. It's got like 7 different photos in it, and it's from On Any Sunday, each photo. And I went to a reunion thing, and Don MD made that thing, and it was auctioned off, and my dad bought it, and Bruce Brown signed the middle of it. It has his signature in the middle, but he put that thing together.
Oh, wow.
That was from him. Yeah,
Don's he's a heavy hitter from San Diego, and he raced for the BSA company. And he's a good guy.
We'll get set up with them. I'd like to join.
It's 800 people come to this dinner every year in Carson.
Okay, let's go.
Let's
go.
There's a procedure to go into getting in the Hall of Fame, like I guess any of them. In my day, when I got in 2002. I think it was 2002 or 1, whatever. And back then, it was more or less a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Now you got to go fill out a bunch of papers and send pictures and do all this mumbo jumbo.
I've submitted it twice for you.
And I don't know if the AMA's got the AMA. I got some letters from the AMA in the old days, and they didn't like me too much because I got scolded. I got scolded when I went to Australia because I was riding with the FIM or something, and they weren't notified or they didn't okay it or something.
Wow.
And it was after the whole thing went down, it came on me, through the mail.
Yeah.
And
we should go to some board meetings.
I had no idea. I did nothing. I thought I'm just going to go race.
You're building bikes. I'm running the rental yard, raising kids. Robbie's over here. He's got his finger on the pulse. He's my new, production manager, assistant. He's getting me to the race. He's making sure the bikes are tuned. He's my new guy. He's signing me up for the races. He's signed Carter up. He's got us registered with the AMA. We got our dues current. Robbie, come on, man. Talk to me. What are you doing, baby?
Yeah.
You're hired.
I got kind of called out as an agent for this guy.
Yeah, you're my new agent. Yeah, you're my new agent, bro.
A guy. Everybody has a guy.
So
I'm his guy, Rod's guy.
Yeah, so I guess I'm the guy.
You're my guy, bro.
I hadn't been that guy before, and we went to the race, and I don't mind being that guy. It's laid back. I know everybody, and here, let's do this and that, and cool, and had a great time. And Carter was all pumped because he was super shy going up
Carter.
there. And by the time he left, he was part of the crew again already.
Dude, Carter could barely ride from camp to the practice track at Ballinger, and then we rode 3 different tracks at Carnegie. We had some hot dogs. We didn't get our tire changed. We wanted to, but by the time we left, what was that hill, Carter, that you did?
Was it
Neverland, or what was it?
It was Neverland Hill.
Yeah, Neverland Hill. There's a little hill right there
Yeah.
in the campground. We did good, and that's the future of the sport. And with Robbie here and Sonny's wisdom, and we're going to really do some great things coming up in the future. This Ventura race is happening tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night?
Ventura.
Yeah, Robie Peterson's going to be in Ventura tomorrow night, folks. We're going all the way live. Sonny Nutter, come on back. Where you at? You coming in? You coming in? Come on,
you know
Diana.
what? I would love to come in, but like I told you earlier, the old lady's kind of under the weather, and I am.
I'll sponsor
And
a
I am-
room. We'll
I
get a
know,
party.
but
We'll get a party door.
What am I going to be in a warm box while I sit? And that place is cold, man.
Oh man!
I've been to
It
that
is.
place.
I can't lie to you.
I've been to that place so
what
many
if I
times.
put
it
you in the
froze my
announce
stomach.
booth? I'll get you in the announcer's
What?
booth.
They don't have a heater there either.
I'll bring a heater. I have
That's
a
an
full-on rental yard. I'll get a heater.
That's an open air deal. Nah, I think I'm going to stay home and watch cartoons.
Hey, Carter.
Carter, are you going? Are you going?
Yeah.
All right. Are you excited?
Yeah.
What do you like to see? Do you like to watch the other kids?
Wait, there's kids races? You're racing.
No, I'm not.
Hey, can we get them signed up, Robbie?
Oh, I'll have to. Your agent will have to look into that.
Your agent, Robbie Peterson's going to get you signed up.
Well, you're in there. You know, you're big enough. You're good enough.
You can do it, bro.
Oh.
You want to ride the 50 or the 70?
I kind of want to ride the 70.
He wants to get a two-stroke, and I was thinking we should set him up with a recluse clutch, a little swing arm action. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you need to be set up like Drake. Extensions, recluse clutch, 65. You're ready to go, dude.
What's a recluse clutch?
It's because my nephew, we put him on the electric bike, and he was so used to riding it, and he really, really good. We put him on a bike with a clutch and gearbox. Hates it.
Really?
Yeah. So the recluse is like what the hard enduro guys use,
You can't stall it.
and you can't stall it.
You can't stall it.
That's what. It's pretty damn hard.
But wait a minute. Who stalls it?
Well, if you
How do you stall it?
come to a stop with the clutch out, it'll kill the motor.
Oh, yeah, but who does that? You mean they don't
It's
remember?
kind of like a.
They don't remember to pull the clutch in at the stop? Carter, I'm confused, man.
Yeah, they don't dig on it very much. It's kind of like it's almost like the trials, the centrifugal thing that kind of like
Yeah,
it's
centrifugal
kinda like,
clutch.
it's kind of like one
Right.
of those, like the snowmobile has, I think.
Yeah.
something kind
Right.
of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never ridden with one. I've just seen Drake ride his bike, and I know that he can't ride it normally. And then we put that thing on it, and he rips the hill. So it's working for him.
Well, it's kind of like Speedway, you know. You only have the throttle and the clutch. There's no brakes and no rear suspension. But anyway, you just got a clutch and a throttle. You don't have to do no shifting. That's kind of nice.
That's one thing. You always look at some of Robbie's older photos. He's always got his finger on that clutch, man.
You know what?
Always.
I got to tell you, I see my friends that are new guys. They're 60-year-old guys that used to ride around the dirt. Now they've become short track riders in this vintage stuff. And they're riding around the corner with their finger on the clutch. And I said, why are you doing that? You need to be holding on with your whole hand. It ain't a two-stroke. You don't have to worry about it seizing up.
On a dirt track, I wouldn't really
No,
think
you know what I
you'd
mean?
need to finger on the clutch. But
No.
a hill climb,
And maybe on your deal, you want to feather the
With
clutch
the hill
some.
climb, you're constantly fanning it and scratching it, and you're constantly
You're working
using
the clutch.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of clutch work. I mean,
Well-
just like running a 125 two-stroke around the track wide open all the time. You know, like those pro
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
like a Carmichael or something. Just
You got to run them
yeah,
wide open.
Yeah, and you're just
What's our
into the
time
clutch
look like?
to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, you know what? I rode the 50 class. I rode the 125. I rode all 175 because there was all these bikes.
Yeah,
The
there's
older-
all
that-
different sizes
Those was
then.
the classes that we had, and I won my first trophy
you got a question?
in '60 and my last one in 2001. That's a good spread
Yeah.
with some intermissions in between, of
Oh
course.
well, of course.
Sonny, tell me something nobody knows about you.
I'm queer.
Tell me something everybody knows about you. Because I know that shit ain't true.
I don't know. I hope that everybody thinks, hey, that guy's a fun guy. You know, he's cool. That's all. And I'm very proud of what I done, and I like to tell people about it, and I ain't tooting my horn, even though I am.
It's okay to toot your horn.
I like to hear his stories. I don't call it tooting his horn. I want to hear them. He's got great stories.
Robbie,
and your stories. All these stories I hear from different people,
Yeah.
even if they rode different types of stuff, we can all relate. We all know what it feels like when we put our dumb suit on, meaning our uniform or whatever. You turn into a different, you know, you're walking at the skid patch, you go in, man.
Yeah, you're manning up.
You go in deep.
Yeah, when the helmet goes on, it's just another.
Yeah.
Everybody home?
I was wondering, so what really excites you about Triumphs? Why Triumphs? What do you love about Triumph motorcycles? What sets them apart?
Well, I have to tell you, I worked for a BSA dealer for a million years, and they hate Triumphs, and the Triumph guys hate BSAs. They hate each other. And I was sponsored by BSA somewhat in my amateur year, my second year as a pro, and getting parts and getting goodies and stuff from them. It had a pretty good BSA, but one night it took a dump, and I rode somebody's Triumph, and I really liked it a lot better than the BSA, and found that Triumph is the best bike to make it go fast. Easiest bike to make it go fast. You can buy all these different parts. BSA has one camshaft in it to run 2 pistons and stuff. Triumph has an exhaust cam and an intake cam. You can change the cam timing and stuff. In a BSA, there's just so many things you can't do. Triumph had a whole lot of things you can do. And they seemed to win the most races, and they were a little bit lighter. And I would say that, no doubt about it, all these years that I've been working on bikes, Triumph, there's more Triumphs around than any of them. There's not many matchless BSA, Nortons, or any of them compared to Triumphs. It seems like they must have sold a lot. I know in 1966, Triumph, USA Triumph bought twice as many bikes to come to this country in 66. So you see a lot more Triumphs from 66 than you did before, because they weren't here. I remember guys had bikes ordered. They were waiting because they weren't here yet.
And then Robbie, you and I grew up, it was like the CR 500 was the do-all, end-all, be-all, the Honda 500. And then how did it just, I remember 03, the return of the Widowmaker, I had bought a brand new KTM 250, and I had some swing arms, bolt-ons that I had blueprinted, and my machinist on the Ventura Avenue made them for me. And I was like, there was one other KTM there and me in 03. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
There was only 2 KTMs in 2003, me and some other kid with some clapped out one.
I mean,
now it's like 90% KTMs.
Well, it's the whole 4-stroke.
Mafia.
Yeah,
infusion.
4-stroke Mafia that's come along. I mean, it changed everything. It was all 2 strokes. I mean, the Zobbel I rode was a 700. I mean, I put 2 500 motors in one bike.
I remember that.
In line.
He had
2 bikes side by side.
1,000 cc in line.
Oh, this way.
In line.
so loud.
In line.
How'd that work?
I won races on it.
Really?
Yeah.
It was insane watching him ride. So
yeah.
insane.
You
Watching him ride, bro.
You ripped the transmission out, both transmissions except for second gear, and you just run second. Start with the motors independently, both. Just kick them over, and then for the throttle and the clutch, split cable going to both, and like 150 horsepower. Yeah.
Whoa.
This long.
Yeah, but super long.
Oh, you had a long one?
Yeah, but that's when I used to run the steel paddles, and I won quite a few races on that bike.
That was
Never
crazy to
won
watch you ride
never
it.
won a championship, but I did win on that bike. But back to your question, with the 500s, I mean, it was 490s, 500s, all that stuff. But then the bike started progressing, I mean, the stuff now, the championship bike that my dad's rider has, it's the 890 KTM motor.
Boy, I can't believe how big they're making motors and stuff.
Yeah, and his bigger bikes, the 1190,
12,
on 100%, like 300 horsepower.
Why don't you just quit screwing around and put a Chevy in it?
Yeah. Well, basically, if it's a 701 cc's or bigger, you can ride
anything you want.
Frame,
you can, Sonny.
ride
Sonny,
it
we
open.
could.
So Sonny, you need to build.
Could.
We want a big 454 Chevy in a frame. We'll take it to the line.
A big block.
Do it.
A big block.
Yeah, I got my promoter right here.
Yeah.
He'll do it for me. Well, it's like you said earlier, though, power or suspension.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I was riding the Harley, the 2500, and then I went to the 950 on it, it was like going from a Sherman tank to a Ferrari.
Right. Oh, wow.
Right.
It was
nice.
It was so much more nimble and easy to ride.
Right.
And I won the world title on it the next year. I mean, it was that good a bike.
I like how Logan Mead kind of put it in that one interview. You want to just make your bike feel as stock as possible, because these guys, these engineers in Japan or Austria or wherever, they're making the geometry.
They're smart.
And the communication between the rider, the motorcycle, and the ground is engineered. Don't try to reinvent that. Just stuff as much horsepower into that and make it feel as stock as possible, and you're gonna just do that much better.
Yeah, the geometry with everything, if you can keep it as the motocross bike and it handles good, then that's awesome. And ultimately, you want to keep the bike as short as you can, because the longer you go with the bike, it's like hooking a trailer up to your car.
Right.
Everything gets slower. So
Right.
the longer you go, when you want to turn, that turn's going to be a lot slower than normal. But you're putting out so much power that you got to keep the front end down.
Right.
So you got to compensate. So the shorter you can run it, the better it is. So just get up your balls up on the tank and get ready to go and let that clutch out. And you know, the shorter setups are better.
Use your traction control.
Yeah.
Body English.
Yep.
Good old body English.
A lot of body English.
Well, like anything else, after racing a long time and thinking about this and that, things I could have maybe done better. So much of it, I worked hard. I was a firm believer, and the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. You're not going to go to a golf game and play golf once a month and be any good. You got to play all the time.
That's right.
Anything.
Yeah.
And I think that I should have worked on my head more than I was, because I wasn't thinking about that part of it. I'm thinking more mechanical, the tires and the gear and the this and that, instead of how am I going to get that guy off the gate, you know, or that's where I was weak. I wasn't a consistently good starter, and in Speedway you got to start or you're
got to get ahead of them right quick.
Yeah.
And
a big mental game.
And just so much, and I'm sure it's the same with yours. If you're not just right in the head going to your race, and you don't feel right about your equipment or something, just anything, it'll screw you up.
Right.
At least for me. And then if I don't do good, I'm pissed off all the way home. And then I think sometimes the guys that ran in the back probably are okay. They don't get pissed off all the way home. They're having some beers, having a great time.
Had way more
I was
fun.
exactly that same way.
And then good for them.
Way more fun being semi-pro.
I know, but I was
chasing the pro
I
title.
was that way, and it would kill me. And then Dave Watson came into my life, and we went to a race, and this guy's 7-time AMA national champion. And we go to the race, and the guy gets his ass handed to him, and I get like 4th or whatever, and I'm going home, and I'm pissed. And he's like we drove to the race. He's still the same. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we go to another race, and he got like, I don't know, 8th or something. And I still wasn't that good. And then driving home, I'm pissed off. And he's just, so I asked him, I'm like, dude, what's the deal? Okay. How are you this way? And he goes, you just got to have fun, Rob. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. He's like, you take it too seriously. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you want to win as bad as I do? And he's all, yeah. And I go, okay. So I changed my mentality, dude. And ever since then, Dave,
have fun.
Dave changed my stuff.
That's cool.
Yep.
Well, it really is about fun. I mean,
We didn't know what the heck we were doing here today,
Yeah.
Sonny, and I told Roland and Goebel, I go, the main mission is to have fun. We're here to drop some bikes off, hang out with some good people, have a good time. That's exactly
Make
what
new
you got.
friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think
right.
this is very cool. I'd like to see a lot more of Robbie, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind bringing his dad down here.
Oh yeah, he'd
For
love
Lucky
it.
Lou.
We'll get Carrie in here.
Yeah.
He'd love
Or
to
any
t-
one of your guys
he'd love
that like
to tell
this,
some
that like
stories.
this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, we light the bikes off right here and start riding, just put them, you know.
Yeah.
Start
A couple
putting.
shots of you guys riding bikes a little bit.
All right, as long as that's okay.
I don't know nothing that runs.
Me neither.
I don't. I got a Honda.
Nothing that runs. Well,
This Triumph right here.
Nah, I think I've got a couple parts I stole off it, so it probably won't go. The same guy painted this as yours.
nice. Tim
See
Barcelona.
yeah, you see the fender on
Yeah.
the back? It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
$480.
Absolutely. Look at the
Oh,
saddle.
fuck.
Don't be sniffing that seat, Sonny.
I'm the only one that's been sitting on it. You got to have a trophy girl sit on it first.
You old seat sniffer, you.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to wrap it up?
And
Yeah.
Margaret.
Yeah.
I started
Sonny,
out with Ann Margaret.
Tell us that story real quick. Come on.
I was working at the shop, and I was always hanging with these young guys, and I was younger than them, but they were telling stories about sniffing seats and stuff, you know. And then they put me up. Ann Margaret came, and she had a 500 Triumph that was out at the front curb. She wasn't around. She was in the shop talking or something, and so I made a pass by there. Get a little snifferoo. I earned my wings. I got other stories, but I can't really tell you those about wings.
Oh. What about Ventura, man? Tell me a quick story about what's your favorite time racing in Ventura? And don't be bashful. Talk about some hay bales.
Well, I raced at Ventura a lot of different stuff. I raced Speedway and TQs and vintage stuff, which was a lot of fun compared to the
Right on the
Speedway.
beach.
But when we started, the track was a small track. It was like a 180-yard track, and then
Yeah.
it got bigger, and it got a little bigger and a little bigger to where
Huh.
it is now.
What
it's
is it now?
It's a serious track.
240?
It's a 440. It's
Oh,
I would
wow.
say at least that, a quarter.
No
a good
kidding.
good
It
strong.
started at
A
180?
good size. Yeah, good sized.
Wow.
A good sized quarter mile. That's what it
Huh.
is. And it's pretty grippy and it's pretty gnarly and it'll hurt you. I know it'll hurt you. And that
Yeah.
cement wall in the front, steer clear of that baby. I've seen some guys that didn't quite make good on that one.
The first time I went there and I saw that concrete wall, I was like, okay.
Well, we went there with the midgets. You know, you saw.
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you see me
I
drive
drove it.
around?
Yeah, I drove with you.
I know you
Yeah.
did. You did the
Tex.
longest spin out I've ever seen. He went in.
Not Greg.
And he went, no, he was fine. He went in and he got it. Remember, the track is total garbage. It's all just a black groove with ruts. It's a piece of shit. And these cars don't have proper tires. They're for a bunch of dice just limping around. Anyway, he whips it in there and he loses it
I'm
like
limping.
this. Really kind of a slow thing. But it was a long,
Slow motion.
Half the
usually you
track spin
loop
out.
it. This was a long one, man. He was going pretty fast, too, when he did. But I go up every now and then, and I haven't done it quite a while to see Wally and drive.
Yeah, Wally. I was
do
just
the
thinking of his
thing.
name. Wally Pencrest.
And
Wally's a good guy, man.
and he has a school there, and he lets me drive the cars, and I take people up there and turn them onto stuff, and it's really bitching. My wife got in, most proudest I've ever been of her. She didn't want to get in. I get in.
Oh, wow.
These people killed to do this, so she got in there and putted around. But I was very proud of her just to be able to get in there and fire it up and go around.
Where do you guys see the future of the sport going?
Boy, I don't know. I think the AMA, from what I see with the AMA flat track stuff, it isn't doing that well. I don't think it's doing so good from what I hear.
Robbie, throw some dirt, talk some cheese. Come on.
For
Hillclimb,
Hillclimb, well,
and then Speedway.
okay. American Hillclimb's kind of killing it right now. They got a full East and West series, and
Yeah.
they have a national championship again in Ohio this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year it will be at Sunnyside, Washington.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. I went to the event last year. I built the West Coast Hill for them. and watched the best in the East and the best in the West battle it out for overall.
Oh, you had an East-West deal?
Yeah, yeah.
We used to have those in the scramble with all the back East guys and the West Coast guys.
Yeah.
It was really a big deal.
Yeah, so it was really good. And on Saturday they had a West Coast hill, and then Sunday the hill straight, so more of an East Coast hill. So and then they average it together like a moto finish for the overall.
Cool.
Southern California is like the motorcycle capital of the world, and we don't have a hill climb here. If there's anybody out there that has a hill or some property where we could host a professional motorcycle hill climb, please contact us. You can call us at gregrents 805-649-2590 or 805-651-1012. Or you can contact Robbie or Sonny. Like, we're looking for some hill climbs to put a hill climb on here in Southern California.
How is your TV? You got anything going? Is there anything on? They
had.
What do you got?
Because of American Hill Climb, it's based out of Florida, not Ohio. So it's underneath the motocross and the flat track and everything under the same sanctioning. So they have a whole film crew that was coming to film for the national championship just this past year.
It'd be a great thing to see.
They had that huge storm in Florida, and they were coming to Florida, they couldn't get out of there to get the crew to Ohio to film. So they didn't get anything. But they have the whole thing designated just for that.
Okay.
And they were sending them there to cover it all, and then it just
I
didn't
think
happen.
for me, and I don't follow like I used to so much what's going on, but you got to get it out there. That's what I did with Speedway. When we started Speedway, I was kind of at the beginning, and I saw it grow into what it is and what it's been and all the rest. And at the first 10 years of it, which I rode, they were popular, man. The place was packed, and it was making money.
Why, though?
And
What
everything
made it
else.
so popular? That was the only cool thing to do?
I think, well, Orange County was above and beyond all the other tracks. The other tracks were pretty good, some of them, but Orange County was strong,
What
man.
made it so good, Sonny?
well,
I'll tell you what made it good. It was a happening. It was a Friday night happening. It was like
That's-
going to the disco or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Hot
That was
girl.
the thing to do. It was, hey, we're going to Costa Mesa, and that's the thing to do. I mean,
That's
there's
what it
so
was.
much shit going on now in Southern California that it's like, you tell people about Speedway now, and they're like, what? And I'm like, dude, the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. Like, oh, yeah, I've been there before. I'm like, they race motorcycles there. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, for 55 years.
Yeah.
People trip, dude.
I was doing an interview there at opening night, and I said, I was right there at the stand, and the track's right there, and I says, one of my favorite pictures is right there with Jack Milne, Harry Oxley, and Gene Ryan, and me and Rick Woods on our motorcycles.
Yeah, and that's in your book. That's in your book.
Getting a picture of us opening night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I always throw this in there. I did the sound test to see if they could even have the races there. I went out there and horse shit and sawdust and spun donuts on my JEP with guys on various corners taking with their machines, working their, doing their thing. And I'm out there going, bwop, spinning donuts and stuff. And when I say Jap, I don't mean like Japanese. It's John A. Prestwich. And that was the motorcycle to have probably for over 30 years in Speedway. It was the bike that won everything. Plus, they made the Brough Superior engine and other engines. They had engines and all kinds of stuff. JAP.
All right. Well, we're at about an hour cracking off on this podcast, Roni. Is there anything you guys want to say or hear? Hit us up. Robbie, any final closing arguments?
No, I'm just very thankful to be here. It was a super cool opportunity. Hang out with Sonny and all you guys, and come check out the shop. And I'm from Orange County. People are like, "You're from LA?" I'm like, "No."
I don't tell nobody from people. I go, "Hey, where are you from?" Because I talk to everybody. I go, "Where are you from?" You go, LA, and I go, no. Where in LA? It makes a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, I'm like,
I'm from the beach side, and that's a lot different than going inland.
Yeah. So I mean, just super stoked to be here and hang out with Sonny and everything.
It was.
And yeah, I mean, just bench racing and telling stories. It's a good time, dude.
Really glad you guys got to connect and be bros, because when you guys see each other now down at Costa Mesa,
Yeah.
you'll be like, what up? Sonny, any closing arguments?
No, I just love having this. I think I chose the right thing for me to do with my life. I wouldn't change anything. Maybe I'd try to win a couple more races here. Anyway, it's all good.
Sonny work on his starts a little more, but other than that,
more
he's
doobies.
good.
It's hard to. I'll tell you one thing. It's sure hard to stop.
All right.
To quit racing.
No,
it's really
stay
hard.
on the gas, bro. If you're not growing, you're dying. You know what I'm saying? Let's
no,
go
I'm on
back
it.
to Gilbert's. Snake a couple more marks. You guys, that's a brag.